Hi guys, today we're going to go over the introduction to the Pilates mat work. Go ahead, sit down on your mat, make sure you're centered, and then lie down onto your back. The first thing we're going to do is align your spine into what we call the neutral position. Go ahead, bend your knees so your feet are flat on the mat. Separate your heels about 3 to 4 inches apart from one another. Let your big toes line up with your heels. Take a deep inhale, and then as you exhale, tilt your pelvis towards your head, and then roll your hips off the ground and stretch your tailbone to the back of your knees. Slowly lay your spine back down onto the ground. Reach your hands up to the ceiling and cross your hands across your chest. Lift the head and shoulders, and then gently roll the shoulders from side to side, and lay the spine back down to stretch your mid-back. Reach your hands back up to the ceiling, pull the shoulders out wide, and then firmly down to the ground. We're going to start with just some deep breathing. Breathe in through your nose, breathing into the back of the rib cage so the ribs can expand out to the sides and the waist narrow. Complete your exhalation and draw the navel tight to your back. We're going to begin with bent knee leg lifts. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Float your right leg up to tabletop so that your knee is directly above your hip and your leg is at a 90-degree angle. We're going to do 3 with the right leg and 3 with the left leg. As you perform this exercise, make sure you're moving with your breath and keeping the navel tight to your back. From the bent knee leg lifts, we're going to go to toe taps. Pick both legs up into tabletop. Take a deep inhale, and then as you exhale, lower your right big toe down to the ground. Tap the ground with your toe, and then inhale, pull it back up into tabletop. Again, we're going to do 3 with the right leg and 3 with the left leg, paying attention to our stability of our pelvis. From here, we're going to work into the chest lift. I want you to lower both feet down onto the ground, lift your forefoot off the ground, and press your heels into the ground to activate your glutes and hamstrings. This will help release your hip flexors and allow you to focus on using your abdominal muscles to lift your head and shoulders. Place your hands behind your back, take a deep inhale, and exhale, lift the head and shoulders. Inhale and return your head and shoulders back to the ground. After we practice our chest lifts, we're going to work on imprinting. I would like you to place your hands at the base of your pelvis so you're holding onto the bony protrusions at your hips. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Draw the navel into your spine so your pelvis tilts towards your head and your low back flattens onto the ground. Inhale and then allow your pelvis to roll back into a neutral position. We're going to take the imprinting into the shoulder bridge. Again, take a deep inhale. As you exhale, tilt your pelvis towards your head so your back flattens on the ground. Then begin to roll your pelvis off the ground and stretch your tailbone towards the back of your knees. Inhale as you slowly lower the hips back down to the ground. As you roll your hips up off the ground, you're going to shift the weight into the back of your shoulders and head. Make sure you're not putting any pressure into the back of your neck. And you also want to check in with your feet. Make sure you're not rolling to the inside or the outside of your foot, but the pressure is even through the forefoot, side of the foot, and heel. We're next going to move into the 100. Pick your legs one at a time up into the tabletop position. Take a deep inhale and exhale, lift your head and shoulders off of the ground. Now if your neck gets tired, you can go ahead and place a ball or a pillow underneath your head, but we're going to start pumping our arms vigorously from the shoulders, about 6 to 8 inches, working to pump the arms 5 times on your inhale and 5 times on your exhale for a total of 10 breaths. Lower your feet back down to the ground one at a time. Remove the ball behind your head. We're going to go into single leg circles. Extend your legs. Pick your right leg up into tabletop and allow your right heel to drop into your buttocks. Your left foot should be dorsiflexed, or the toes should be pulled towards your head, while your right foot should be plantar flexed or pointed. You're going to draw 5 circles with your right leg, inhaling and exhaling with each circle, and then change direction. Again, pay attention to the stability of your pelvis and make sure you're keeping your abdominals drawn in throughout this motion. After you've done 5 with each leg, go ahead and switch. And after we finish our single leg circles, we're going to go into rolling like a ball. Bend your knees and pick your legs one at a time up into tabletop. Take a deep inhale, exhale, lift your head and shoulders, and grab firmly behind your thighs. Now you're going to begin rocking back and forth. Start with small rocks, trying to articulate your spine as it rolls back and forth along the ground. You can gradually increase the size of your rocking as long as you're able to maintain the shape of your body. Now we're going to go into a single leg stretch. Pick your legs up into tabletop. Again, lift your head and shoulders, reach down and grab behind one of your thighs. Extend your opposite leg, take a deep inhale, and exhale and switch legs. Again, if your neck and shoulders are getting tired holding them up for this exercise, go ahead and place that ball or those pillows behind your shoulders and neck to support your head. After single leg stretch, we're going to go into the double leg stretch. Again, pick your legs back up into tabletop. Take a deep inhale. Again, exhale, lift your head and shoulders, but grab behind both of your thighs. Inhale, extend your legs about 45 degrees from the ground while you reach your hands up past your shoulders. Sweep your hands out wide and grab the back of your thighs. Pull your elbows out wide and the shoulder blades down the back to firmly draw those knees into your chest. Lay your head and shoulders back down, lower your feet to the ground so we can prepare for spine stretch. Go ahead, roll onto your side, use your elbow to help you come into a seated position. Now for spine stretch, we want to have our legs extended out in front of us and our back flat. This can be very challenging if you have tight hamstrings. So if that's the case, go ahead, fold up your mat a few times to lift your hips up slightly higher than your heels. Again, extend your legs out in front of you with your feet about hip distance apart and your toes in a dorsiflexed position or pulled back toward your head. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, draw the navel into your spine to round your spine forward one vertebra at a time. And then inhale, as you stack your spine to return to your start position. After we go through the spine stretch, we're going to go into mermaid. Sit down on your mat with one knee bent in front of you and the other knee bent out to the side as if you're in a hurdler stretch. Reach your hands out to your sides. Lean over the knee that's bent in front of you, allowing your elbow to sink to the ground and your opposite arm to reach over your head. And then perform a counter stretch in the other direction. After 3 repetitions, you're going to come back up, grab your ankle and then your knee, so you're holding on to the leg that's bent out to your side with both hands. Sit as tall as you can and gently rotate your spine and take 3 deep breaths. We're going to switch legs and do the same thing to the other side. After you finish with the mermaid stretch, we're going to move into tick-tock. Lie down on your back. Reach your hands out wide to your sides and press the back of the arms firmly into the ground. Pick your legs up into tabletop. Begin to inhale and allow both knees to tilt to one side, and then exhale, pull your knees back to center. Only rotate as far as you can without your shoulders lifting off the ground. Make sure you're keeping the abdominals tight to your back and you're moving with your breath. Lower both feet down to the ground and we're going to go into a side lying leg lift. Lie down on one side. Rest your head on your arm. Bend your bottom leg and extend your top leg. Keep the abdominals drawn into your back as you inhale, lift your leg up towards the ceiling, and exhale, lower down just above the ground. Again, use your arms to come back up into a seated position and switch sides. You should have a straight line from your shoulder to your hips, and your bottom leg should be slightly bent forward of your body. Your top leg is lifting to the ceiling, maintaining that line from the shoulders to the hips. We're now going to move into some spinal extension. I'd like you to lie down onto your stomach and stack one hand on top of the other with your elbows wide. Rest your forehead on top of your hands, and then you're going to inhale. Press your forearms down into the ground to float your chest up off the ground. Keep your eyes at the back of your hands, and then inhale, lower your head back down to your hands. We're going to practice this 3 times, keeping your hands down on the ground. And then we're going to try for 3 more with your hands glued to the back of your head. So as you lift your chest, you're also going to try to lift your forearms up off the ground. If this is too straining or you feel discomfort in your back, keep those forearms down and just slowly lift the chest using your arms. We're now going to build into a cat and cow. So come up into a kneeling position with your knees directly underneath your hips and your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Take a deep inhale, and then as you exhale, draw the navel up into your back so your back rounds as an angry cat, and then inhale. Breathe into your belly and allow your belly to sink down towards the ground to come into the cow position. Try to keep your glutes and hamstrings relaxed as you do this exercise so that you're using your abdominal muscles to move your spine from flexion to extension. Check in with your shoulders as you do this exercise. The shoulder blades should always be drawn down the back. And allow your head and neck to move with the rest of your spine. All right, guys, that finishes up our intro to the Pilates mat work. Thank you for joining me. Keep tuned and we will have more exercises on the station.